Hi everyone, Dr. Brad here from drellisor.com, and I wanted to hop on live today for a couple reasons, and I'm just going to take a moment and let the live catch up, if you don't mind waiting just a second. So the reason that I was inspired to get onto this live video today is this morning I did a podcast interview with a woman named Deborah Morgan from Kids Health Revolution Radio. It was an awesome interview. Hopefully we'll be releasing it next week with the launch, or within the next 2 weeks with the kickoff of my new podcast and project called Kids Eating Broccoli. And the goal of this project is really to assist families in making changes towards health and towards a healthier lifestyle so that our next generation can really be our best generation. And it's so many things struck me in this interview today, and I'm so grateful for Deborah for coming on with me. But one of the things that she brought up that I thought was profound was this concept of our hang-ups as parents about food getting in the way of our kids making those changes. And it was powerful to consider that. She mentioned another statement, which was that our kids are capable of much more than we often give them credit for. And so we were exploring some of the concepts of, how do we deal with situations like when our kids want to go to birthday parties and celebrations in other people's houses, and there's going to be pizza there and candy and cake and ice cream, and we're trying to instill these new changes into our own families and our houses and our lifestyles, maybe going gluten-free or kicking out the processed foods or the sugars. And how do we handle that? And what she was mentioning is in her work, and she works with a lot of families with kids with different significant diagnoses, autoimmune disorders, and mental processing disorders, things like that, and helps them solve those problems just with shifting their nutrition. But it's a complex task a lot of times when you have kids, and even when you have more than one kid, and especially if they're further along in life, rather than starting out right away. But what she was bringing up was that consideration that a lot of people have, like, oh no, what's my kid going to do, when they go to parties, or what are they going to do at school when all the other kids are eating, the school lunch or the junk food, and they have, kale and celery and things like that. But what she was saying is she's found a lot of times that's more the parents hang up, associated our celebration or our fitting in with the crowd as these relationships with food. And if we are able to let those go as a parent and not sort of put that on top of our kids, that our kids are much more adaptable than we often will give credit to. And I see this with my own kids, they talk about what they see other kids eating, and it's like surprising to them to have other kids eating so different. But and they do stand out. But it's like if we have these conversations and I let them know, or we let them know why we make these choices, and this is how we do things in our family for these reasons, it all makes sense for them, and they're okay with it. They eat the stuff, they might want the other things, and often, it can be a good strategy to have certain times when you let your kids have some of those things, or really work hard to make healthy substitutions, for some of those things. But I think it was just a profound consideration that a lot of times it's our own hang-ups that we then put on our kids, that they're not going to be able to deal with eating healthy, and they're not going to fit in, and all these types of stories that we brought forward that aren't really so for them. And so let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and really respect and understand that they are capable of more than we often give them credit for. And let's work hard to really make those changes, because the more of us that do, the more parents out there that are interested in having their kids and their families eat healthier and have a healthier lifestyle, the easier it'll be. The less those children will stand out. The more often they'll go to a birthday party where the parents will find out in advance how many kids are gluten-free, or how there'll be healthier options to eat rather than the typical junk food that maybe we grew up with or see these days. And maybe there'll be sparkling water or something natural rather than a bunch of sodas and things like that. So keep at it, keep fighting the good fight, making those changes in your family, because really, we're at a tipping point with our next generation. They're right now, they are estimated to be the first generation in history to have a lesser lifespan than their parents, meaning that my kids, who are almost 2, 6, and 9, their generation is not expected to live as long as I am. First time in history. So we have an opportunity to change that. But it's going to take some significant attention on our parts. So let's keep that up. Let's do that from one parent to others. Let's make that difference. All right? This is Dr. Brad from drlsr.com signing off. You guys take care.